So we've seen this grim pattern unfold over the last year where the Department of Homeland Security makes a big show of announcing the next target of its campaign of fear and menace. Yesterday, following an inquiry from MS Now, the mayors of the two largest cities in Maine, Portland and Lewiston, warned that their cities will be the next target. They urged their constituents to know their rights, to create a plan if they are stopped by federal authorities. Now, both cities, we should say, have large Somali American populations dating back decades. In fact, it was 23 years ago this week that Lewiston was actually the target of a coordinated white supremacist hate campaign in which extremists tried to purge the city of its Somali residents. In a statement to her constituents, Maine's Democratic Governor Janet Mills made clear that ISIS tactics of fear and intimidation are not welcome in her state. Governor Janet Mills is also running to be Maine's Democratic Senate nominee, and she joins me now. Governor, it's good to have you. First, just what have you been told, and by whom, about the possibility of some surge of ICE DHS operations in your state?
Well, thanks, Chris. Look, we've been trying to find out, first of all, seeking confirmation or denial, calling federal officials and saying, can you tell us something here? Can you tell the police, the local police, are you sending people in for some action? As a matter of common courtesy, you ought to let us know. We've gotten no response, no confirmation or denial. And the fact that there was no denial tells you volumes, speaks volumes, I guess. So we have to prepare and assume that they're sending some people in for some kind of operation in our cities. And I will tell them, as I said last night, if they plan to engage in provocative actions, if they plan to deprive people of civil rights, civil liberties on our streets, in our cities and towns, they're not welcome here. Those tactics are not welcome here. We are a state that applauds professional law enforcement. We know good law enforcement when we see it. We hold our law enforcement agents to strict training requirements and high professional standards. And I'll tell you one thing, they don't wear masks. They don't have to wear masks to hide their identity. They don't make arrests based on some quota from any higher up. That's not good law enforcement. We don't want to see happen here what's happened in other cities. We don't welcome it. We don't want it.
I just want to confirm what you said at the beginning there, because it is pretty remarkable to me. There's really not any communication. There's no one from DHS who is saying one way or the other. There's no channel there.
Correct. You know, as a matter of common courtesy, you'd think that their law enforcement would talk to our law enforcement, that the governor of a state would be notified if there's some major operation coming, or deny it. Just tell me it isn't going to happen. I'd welcome the news. We'd all welcome that news. But I will tell you what, we stand for good communications. Our state stands for civility, and we stand for civil rights and civil liberties. And what we will do if they come here is do everything we can to protect the safety of the public and the civil rights and civil liberties of all people in Maine.
The reporting suggests that the pretext here, and I call it a pretext advisedly, is that there is a significant Somali American population in Maine. It's been there for a while. I think the latest estimates are 3,200 people. It had been about 10,000 folks.
Probably more.
Largely original refugee, but now obviously American citizens and the like. Do you have a message for them if they're feeling targeted and freaked out and like they're the ones that these federal agents are coming to seize or mess with?
Right. It's a terrible thing to target an entire community based on race, ethnicity, religion. Look, the pretense here, ostensibly from public reports, is some kind of fraud. Look, I welcome any and all evidence of fraud. If somebody has evidence of fraud, let us know and we'll pursue it. We have been pursuing it, actually, in Medicaid fraud. We've been auditing for the last 3 years a certain organization. But listen, to target and castigate an entire community because of the alleged misdoings of a couple people is wrong. And it's unconstitutional in my view. It's discriminatory. Listen, I was a district attorney for 3 counties, the elected district attorney. I was attorney general of this state for 8 years. I prosecuted fraud. I prosecuted all kinds of crimes. I know how to investigate fraud. I know how to prosecute fraud. It need not result in a street sweep of innocent people. It need not endanger the civil rights and civil liberties of people because of their ethnicity, their color, the color of their skin, or their religion. It need not entail a sweep or an operation of the sort that has gone on in other states and cities across this country. It's a pretense.
I know you've said you haven't heard anything from the Trump administration or DHS. Have you been in contact with other governors, particularly Democratic governors like J.B. Pritzker,
Sure,
Tim Walz, Gavin Newsom, and others who have been experiencing this about how to game out and prepare your state for whatever does happen?
yes, we talk. I mean, we're friends anyway, we certainly have talked, and they've offered any support they can give, and I've welcomed that. At this time, you know, we stand for due process. This administration in Washington has taken a wrecking ball, not just to the White House, the East Wing, and maybe the West Wing, but a wrecking ball to the Constitution of the United States, a wrecking ball to our rights. I happen to believe that the Constitution of the United States is something more than a suggestion box. It does stand for due process. It does stand for equal rights and equal protection under the law. And that's what we in Maine stand for, too. And we will resist any attempt to take away the civil rights and liberties of our residents in Maine, or to use provocative actions to terrorize people on the streets of our cities.
Maine Governor Janet Mills, whose state is apparently preparing for some kind of targeted ICE enforcement operation, although no one will confirm that on record. And as you heard here on this program, she has not been contacted by anyone in the federal government. Governor, thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris.